you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. The Ecological Fund is one of the biggest special intervention funds in Nigeria. However, and regrettably, the operation of the Ecological Fund over the years has raised questions of accountability, transparency, and credibility. Successive governments have serially been accused of diverting and enriching themselves from the ecological funds. The operation of the fund has been largely discretionary, with zero guidelines on the disbursement and utilization of the monies. Funds were given out from the ecological fund as loans to private individuals and companies, state governments, and corporations. The indiscriminate application of the fund has had some states benefit so much from it, while some other states got next to nothing. There is therefore an urgent need for strict regulation and supervision of the ecological fund to stop what has become a gross abuse of several billions of naira paid into the fund annually. Distinguished colleagues, the ecological fund was established in 1981 as an intervention fund for the amelioration of ecological problems such as soil erosion, flood, drought, desertification, oil spillage, pollution, and general environmental pollution. It was structured to receive 1% of the Federation account and was later increased to 2%. The fund has over the years been operated like a slush fund, deployed for varying purposes according to the whims and caprices of the incumbent. The need to combat the menace of ecological problems facing Nigeria informed the establishment of the Ecological Fund through the Federation account as a pool of funds that would be solely devoted to funding of ecological problems. The utilization of the Ecological Fund, particularly since the return of the civilian rule in 1999, has been embroiled in endless controversies that in most cases are hinged on gross mismanagement. Hence, rather than serve as a veritable tool for addressing the myriad of the country's ecological problems, the utilization of the fund was related to transparency. History avails us with case studies of how ecological funds were used to fund elections. Also, there have been reports of illegal withdrawals from Ecological Fund account by the Ecological Fund Office for reasons not relevant to the objectives of the fund. Also, between 2003 and 2007, the Senate Public Accounts Committee reported that over 9 billion of Ecological Fund was remitted by the Ecological Fund Office to the National Emergency Management Emergency, NEMA, and the money has not been accounted for. These issues culminate into the need to address the lack of transparency as a major reason the fund has not achieved its stated objectives. Poor implementation of ecological funds have also been blamed for the increased vulnerability of many states to the recent scourge of floods and gully erosion. Despite these issues, no coordinated legislative action has been taken to address these issues of mismanagement associated with the use of ecological funds. In 2009, 93.7 billion naira was illegally transferred from the Ecological Fund to the Consolidated Revenue Fund to fund the acceleration of capital project advances to state and local governments to meet revenue shortfalls. The National Economic Council reported that about 200 billion belonging to Ecological Fund had been spent on questionable projects that were either non-existent or had no relation to the fight against ecological disasters or problems. In 2010, the House of Reps raised queries over curious withdrawals and loans to agencies and individuals, totaling 146.594 billion naira, mainly to irrelevant objectives of the fund. It was reported in 2011 that an illegal deduction totaling 20.1 billion was made from the Ecological Fund for debt servicing. It was also reported that in the previous administration, 2 billion naira was allocated to certain states of the Federation, while other states were excluded. In 2013, 22 billion naira was withdrawn and shared out to states and local governments, while 2.078 billion naira was withdrawn towards the building of the second Niger Bridge, although there is nothing on ground to justify the purported expenses. In the last 15 years, the federal and state governments have reportedly misused about 500 billion naira meant for redressing ecological problems. In 2013, the Senate Committee on Public Accounts report uncovered a massive abuse and misappropriation of the funds, which included 154.9 billion naira on projects not related to the environment. In 2002 again, the fund gave a grant of 728 million naira to the Presidential Research and Communication Unit and disbursed 928 million for non-ecological projects. In 2003, 1.9 billion naira was disbursed for non-ecological problems, out of which 800 million naira was given to the Ministry of Aviation for the renovation of the Aminu Kano Airport and 150 million naira to Kaduna State Government to manage sectarian crisis in the state. Mr. President, my respected colleagues, this bill is a response to that Senate's resolution on the report of the Committee on Public Account to enact a legislation to regulate the operations of the ecological funds and other similar funds. The objective of the bill, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, is therefore, in the fulfillment of that resolution, to enact a legislation for the regulation of a transparent and accountable operation of the ecological fund. It seeks to ensure that the fund is applied solely for the purpose of environmental and ecological problems. It seeks to specify the exact category of beneficiaries of the fund, the distribution proportions, and purposes for which the fund can only be applied to curb the arbitrary expenditures being incurred from the fund. With many states in the southeast and south-south ravaged by erosion, while their northern counterparts are threatened by desert encroachment. It is the objective of this bill to ensure that the ecological fund serves the sole environmental and ecological purpose for which it is created. It will aid the National Assembly in their oversight functions on the utilization of these funds, if passed. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this bill has no any financial burden. The office is existing under the presidency, and I therefore implore my colleague to support the passage of this bill.